Come on, soldier, admit it. You've seen it lurking on the back page of the warbond. You've counted your medals, you've done the math, and you've wondered, is it time? The JAR-5 Dominator is a powerhouse on paper, but out of the field, it can be a massive liability. So the big question is this explosive rifle actually worth that steep price? We're dropping straight into enemy territory to figure out if the Dominator is a top tier or just a very expensive special weapon. Let's be real, medals don't just appear in your armory, you earn them in the mud and blood, one dead bug and one dismounted bot at a time. So the JAR Dominator costs around 80 medals from the Steel Veterans Warbond. Now the Dominator makes a lot of promises. It's a high damage, explosive, armor penetrating rifle that looks like it was ripped straight out of 40k armory. On paper, it sounds like the answer to all your problems. But we all know that on paper doesn't mean much when a charger is breathing down your neck or a devastator is turning you into cover into confetti. Before we get into the chaos of combat, let's look at the raw data. Understanding numbers is the first step of understanding what this gun is meant to do. First up, the damage. After a massive buff that took it from 200, is now sitting at a very respectable damage rate of 275 per shot. That's a huge number for a primary weapon, putting it in a top tier of single shot damage. This thing isn't a pea shooter, every round hits like a truck. Next is main selling point, medium armor penetration rounds. This is what separates it from a standard issue rifle. It's made to punch through the plating on tougher enemies that love to bog down a squad. Add in the explosive tag and you got a recipe for serious destruction. Seriously, it's basically a bolter for Warhammer 40k, but bigger, more bulkier to use. But here comes the trade-off. The magazine only holds 15 rounds and you only get 6 spare mags. That's not a lot of ammo to play with, especially on higher difficulties. And the fire rate is a sluggish 250 RPM, so forget about spraying and praying your way out of a tight spot. Finally, the handling. With a recoil stat of 75, this weapon feels heavy. It's slow to aim, slow to turn, and feels more like a support weapon than a rifle. You may think that just because it fires a single shot and hits like a truck, that this will benefit you hugely. This, however, is actually a negative, and you'll see why later on. As these stats paint a crystal clear picture, the Dominator is a specialist tool. It's a scalpel and sledgehammer, built for deliberate and high impact shots while rewarding accuracy and not so much spamming it. So where does this thing actually shine? Its strengths is in taking high value targets off the board with shocking efficiency. The mix of high damage, medium penetration and a massive stagger effects makes it the perfect elite killer. Against the automatons, the Dominator is, and I'm not joking, an S tier primary. It almost feels like it was designed specifically for fighting boss only. A single well placed shot to the head will instantly kill a devastator. That includes rocket, heavy and standard variants. Being able to remove those oppressive threats before they can even fire back is a game changer. The stagger is also so powerful that even body shots can interrupt their attacks, giving you a precious window to finish them off. It's just as good against berserkers as well, stopping their chainsaws rush dead in their tracks. While it's not the best choice for scout striders, a few good shots to the legs or the exposed driver will still bring them down straight away. And for hulks, if you can get behind them, the Dominator chews through their glowing heat vents surprisingly fast. For bot missions, the weapon feels less like an option, and more like a core part of a winning strategy. Now, over to the determined front. Here, the Dominator's job gets a little bit more specific. It is absolutely not for clearing hordes. Don't even try. But for taking out the big, problem-causing bugs, it's fantastic. It pops biospewers in around 2 to 3 shots to their big squishy sacks. The stagger will interrupt their acid spray, saving your team from a wipe, and it could also stop stalkers cold and kill them within a single headshot. Hive gods and their armored heads? Not a problem. 1 to 3 shots punch right through them. Even brute commanders go down fast thanks to the high damage and stagger. If it isn't a tiny bug, the Dominator is a great way to kill it. And the squids? Votlers get evaporated per shot made, while against the overseers it can punch through the armor like butter. No, seriously, it's really powerful against the overseers, but you may struggle if it's against the elevated overseers since they move faster and are kind of harder to hit. It also does fairly well against the flesh mobs, allowing you to either kill them within a few shots or just weaken them so you can use your special against them. So just like the bugs, it excels against the bigger threats, but not as much against the large groups all at once. And now, no weapon is perfect, and trust me, the Dominator flaws are just as big as its strengths. And knowing these weaknesses is the key to using it effectively. The most obvious problem is how terrible it is against swarms. With a slow fire rate, tiny magazine, and a painfully slow reload, getting surrounded by hunters or basic determined warriors is a death sentence. You just can't put enough shots to kill a horde. Firing into a crowd feels like you're throwing ammo into a black hole. You'll be empty in seconds, and the swarms will barely notice. The second major issue is ammo. 105 total rounds is just not a lot. If you aren't hitting your shots on priority targets, you will run dry fast. This gun demands precision. Every missed shot is a crisis waiting to happen. This is not a gun for spraying and praying, it's for making every single shot count. Finally, there's the handling. The slow turning speed is a real liability, making it tough to snap onto flanking enemies like stalkers. It feels like you're aiming a turret, not a rifle. If an enemy gets a drop on you, you'll struggle to bring the gun to bear in time. The low muzzle velocity also means that you have to lead your shots quite a bit, which takes some getting used to. While you can customize it to fix some of the issues, it won't overall fix the unending issues that plague the weapon from start to end of the mission. So, how do you fix some of these flaws? It's all about your loadout. You have to pair the Dominator with something that can handle crowds. The P9015 machine pistol is a great choice for clearing out the little critters that get in your face. For your support weapon, the Stalwart or Arc Thrower are great fast response weapons. The Stalwart mows down small bugs, while the Arc Thrower can clear waves without even needing to use a single bullet. You have to start thinking of the Dominator as your elite killer, while the rest of your gear handles everything else. And to fix the clunky handling, try an armor set with the Peak Physique perk. It makes the Dominator feel more responsive. Now before we hit the conclusion, if this briefing is helping you serve up some liberty, reinforce the channel by liking and subscribing for more Helldivers 2 guides. Let us know in the comments how you make the Dominator work for you. So, after all that, here's the bottom line. Yes, the JAR-5 Dominator is absolutely worth your medals, but you have to be willing to play a very specific way. This is not a do-it-all general purpose rifle. If you want something more versatile for running and gunning, you're better off with the Breaker or the Sickle, whatever. The Dominator is a specialist weapon, through and through. Now, you should buy the JAR-5 Dominator if you spend a lot of time fighting automatrons, as is arguably the best primary you can bring to the battlefront. You like being the person in your squad who's responsible for taking down the big scary targets. You have the patience to pick your shots, focus on threats like the Devastators and Biospewers first, and you're willing to build your entire loadout around it and bring a support weapon for crowd control. You should not buy the JAR-5 Dominator if you want a gun that's good on every situation. You prefer a fast-paced, high-mobility playstyle focused on clearing swarms, and you struggle with ammo management and want a more forgiving weapon. The JAR-5 Dominator is a highly skilled, high-reward weapon. In the hands of a smart player who understands his job, it is absolutely devastating. For the Helldiver who sees the battlefield as a list of priority targets to be knocked down one by one, the Dominator is more than worth the medals. It's an investment in your entire squad's success. So that's the full briefing on the JAR-5 Dominator. Now you have the intel to make the right call. Invest wisely, Helldiver. Your life depends on it. Now, get out there and show them what managed democracy really looks like. And I'll catch you again in the next one.